and welcome to the FSG, the Former Soldier Group. My name is Chris Molyneux, and this is the first video of a series of 12 videos that I'm going to be putting together to explain what the FSG is, what it's all about, and where it's going to be going. Okay? So I wanted to, with this, is just do a bit of a background about myself, who I am, what my experience is, and where this idea actually came from. Okay, so starting off with a bit of background. Like I said, my name is Chris Molyneux. I am a veteran. I served 14 years in the British Army. Decided to leave in the year 2015, and then became a learning and development professional. Okay, I deliver a variety of different training courses, whether they be short duration, long duration, for a variety of different companies in different industries. Okay, you could say that the multidiscipline from my military career definitely stayed with me and has followed me into my now known as civilian life. A couple of pictures there showing on operational tours, whether that be Iraq, Afghanistan, and a couple of the training courses that I've recently delivered prior to the lockdown for COVID-19 taking place. The vision then. So ultimately my main vision, my main motivator for this is the end goal. I would love to see some sort of building, structure, training centre put together where we could collaborate, go to for meetings. You know, we could put on events, we could run training courses, whether they be theory, practical, technical, and so on. Ideally, I would love it all to be free, to be funded by a group or an organisation other than ourselves. But ultimately, I want it heavily discounted if I can. Okay, free is the goal. However, anything baby steps towards that is what we're working for. The reason for it is to help with definitely transition. You know, leaving the military, going into the civilian world can be quite daunting for some. You know, some take it like a duck to water. Some it's a little bit too much. Share connections, knowledge, and definitely lessons learned. You know, even in the short period of time that I have now been out, I have learned a hell of a lot with regards to what to do, what not to do, and everything else in between. The logo itself then. So in the military world, I was part of the FSG, the Fire Support Group, which was and still will always be the senior platoon within a battalion, unit, regiment, whatever you want to call it. Highly experienced people that operated within it and they were multidisciplined. What I mean by that is everybody was a rifleman first, then you'd be able to pick up an anti-tank weapon or maybe deploy in a reconnaissance role or everything else in between. We would literally be able to deliver whatever was asked from us. In the civilian world, I wanted to try and transition that over to former soldiers, all right, or the Former Soldier Group. I'm not a big fan of people that say, oh, I'm an ex-soldier, even though it's the term that has been bandied around for a hell of a long time. I think personally, you cannot be an ex-soldier. Once you've been trained to be a soldier, that stays with you forever. Okay, you ask any veteran out there, they will still be able to recite, 6-section battle drills, how to strip a weapon down, all that sort of stuff. The group will be predominantly combined of veterans from all different services, RAF, Navy, and ultimately the Army. We are all highly experienced and multidisciplined, and I'd like to think of it as some sort of connection group where you can go step by step across and complete various different courses, qualifications, be introduced to different networks, especially regionally and locally. The actual logo itself then, so at the top of the actual Centaur is the Spartan helmet. If you don't know who a Spartan is or what a Spartan is, go Google the film 300, watch it, mission accomplished. Odysseus' bow and arrow. This goes on now to about accuracy. Everything that this group will deliver will be to the most up-to-date, accurate version that it can be. Odysseus was a fantastic Greek historian, archer, so to speak, and I believe, as the story is right, he shot 10 apples off 10 different people's heads with one bow. A bit of a Greek Robin Hood, so to speak. The centaur body, the mythological creature, with this symbolises mobility. I'm here now talking to you via the internet, YouTube, Facebook, whatever that may be. That is what I want this group to be able to do, is to be able to reach people wherever they may be at any point in time, if possible. Okay. And then last but not least is the battle axe, weaponry and tools. In the military world, that's fine. That's your rifle, that's your machine gun, that's your grenades, etc. However, in Civic Street, you can't go cutting around with things like that. But as it stands in the real world, this is this. These are your weapons, these are your tools, these are your skills, whether it be the hands, the mind, and everything else in between. So that is where that logo came from. Sea drills, you know, the core values of the British Army. They transition into any walk of life. You know, they are basic, simple, and yes, sometimes we may drift. However, they will always be there in the backbone of this. And ultimately, the shield. You've got to think you were part or are part of an army, which is a collective group, which ultimately is a form of shield. You know, that is the protection behind it. In the civilian world, we have the veterans groups. This group, the former soldier group. So that is where that came from, signifying, you know, the shield protection. Merchandise wise, this is very, very, very early stage. But what I have decided to do is get the actual logo itself, develop it onto iron-on material. So if you do have clothing and you want to stick this logo on, by all means, all you have to do is place the logo where you want it, get an iron it on, jobs are good, and you can then represent then. The reason why I decided that is because trying to find clothing that fits everybody, you know, XL, large, medium, it means nothing in this day and age, because you've got skinny fit, tight fit, normal fit. So that's why I went down the iron-on route. All right. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch this video. This is the first of, like I said, 12 videos as part of a series. It's not just going to be me. You are going to see other former soldiers, their experiences, their lessons learnt, and what we've come by. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Chris Molyneux, and I will see you again soon.